Hello, it's Ashley here from Paper&Twine and welcome to day 17 of 31 days of Christmas crafting in October. Today's craft is something that you could do with the kids if you're a primary school teacher. This would be a fantastic thing to help with kids' dexterity. Before I share with you what we're going to make today, we need to address a little problem that I have. I have an obsession with buttons. And I have quite a large button collection. So let's start first of all, sorry for any noise you might hear, with this tin here. This tin is chocker with vintage buttons. Look at all these old buttons, all sorts of different sizes and shapes and yes, look, that's not a vintage one, but a lot of these are genuine vintage buttons that I bought in this tin. And as if that wasn't enough, on the old vintage front, I've just stabbed myself with a bloody needle there. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. Let's just bury that in there. I also have this little vintage button set as well in this little adorable glass jar that sits on my windowsill. There's all kinds of little buttons in there. That's a little cute one, isn't it? So yes, I don't forage in here very often. There's some weird and wonderful ones. Look at those 1970s glamour. Some funny shapes. Yes, there's all kinds in here. These are quite interesting. Don't quite know what to do with these, but that is one container. Look at this beastie here. And that beastie. Don't quite know what to do with these. Actually, you could alter that and make that into a little work of art. Now this I do remember is off a cardigan that I had. Yes. So there's all kinds of things in there. Then this here is what I would call my main button tin. I've just been having a sort through, and to make it easier, I've poured what also belongs in this tin into this bowl. There's all kinds. These are really nice painted ones. We'll just put this to one side for a minute and have a look through here. Now, whenever clothes are worn out, if they're not good enough to donate to the charity shop, I cut the buttons off if they've got buttons and add them to this tin. And look at this. I think it was a belt buckle or something. It looks like a piece of broken jewellery actually. Little bits of mosaic. But there's all kinds of buttons in here, novelty buttons. I was having a little sort through earlier and I saw some things that reminded me of various outfits. And the kids, there might be in this bit here actually. Let's see if I can find what I saw before. Oh yes, here's one. Now when Molly was little, there used to be a very posh clothes shop in Leamington, and I bought her this most adorable outfit. She was about 5 or 6 and it was yellow and bright pink. It was a yellow background with bright pink flowers and the buttons are these little rose flowers, and it was a top and pedal pusher trousers. Oh, and she looked gorgeous in it. She had blonde hair at the time. And there's another one. So yeah, seeing these buttons brings back memories. I've got quite a lot of these heart buttons. I did see something else that gave me a memory. I wonder if I can find it. Probably not now. Oh look, a little cow button. I just love trawling through them, and you get so many different shapes and sizes and colours and materials. Yeah, and there's just nothing more satisfying than the sound of rummaging through buttons. Now somewhere in a separate box, and I don't know where they are, I've got my grandmother's buttons, but I'm not quite sure where they are. But I've got a lot of these that I bought that are kind of, they're not painted as such, but they're patterned in some way, and they're kind of like a wood. Maybe they are painted, I don't know. There's a lot of those, and there was a particular button that I was looking for. Got a lot of these star buttons. Oh, look at that. That's quite interesting, isn't it? It's nice and heavy. Let me just have another little rummage in this little bit here, because there was something that I saw that gave me a memory. If I do that, I wonder if I'll come across it. Now these cloth covered ones were off an outfit that I had. Ah, now there's one. This was off a lovely blouse that I had from Monsoon in the 90s. It's a silk covered button. Look, and I've got these little flowered ones here as well. So there's that. So that's my main button tin. I've also got, you might have seen me look at this before. This is my go-to button. When I want a small button for an ATC or a card, I go to that particular jar. And again, I've put them in a bowl to help me sort through them. Oh, there's a knitting stitch marker there, that's useful. But there are some teeny tiny ones in here. I love teeny tiny buttons. Look at how adorably small that is. And there's all kinds of colours. There's some little square ones in here as well. But I love rummaging through this. Absolutely love it. Oh, look, there's a little square one. I think I bought these from a quilting shop. They're for like patchwork quilting. Look at that, it's so tiny. So that's my main go-to everyday button thing. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I've got these two little containers that have got shaped small buttons in. These were free with a magazine back in the day. Look, I've got little tiny red hearts, and I've got little tiny stars. Just an assortment. Look at these, they are so cute. Look how tiny that is. So that is my button collection. And what we are going to make today is a button Christmas tree. Dead easy. I've made some already, just using what I've got in my stash. Groovy colours. Another groovy colour one. These are great to do with the kids. You can't really see. And more traditional colour, a green one. And a red one. And then a little teeny tiny, using smaller buttons, kind of neutral coloured one. If you'd got really tiny buttons that were in gradual sizes, you could make a little pair of earrings actually. That would be all right for an earring. If I put it by my finger, you can see it's not that big. So we are going to make one together. And obviously, if you're doing this with very small children, give them a very blunt needle so that they can't do themselves any harm. You will need some thread of some sort. I'm going with this blue pearl cotton thread, but use whatever you've got in your stash. And I'm going to thread up my needle. and I've pre-sorted, just to make things easier, a selection of buttons, and you want to lay them out from your smallest to your biggest, because you want kind of like that tree shape. And then you want 3 buttons that are kind of the same size for the pot or the trunk. It could be a trunk or a pot, whatever. So those are the buttons that I'm going to use. And thread your buttons onto your yarn. Actually, what I like to do is thread them the other way on. It doesn't really matter, but I like to thread that way, so that the back of the button is towards me. If there isn't a back of a button, it doesn't really matter. And we're just going in size. Look how quick and easy this is. And I've got my biggest one here, and then I'm coming to some smaller ones for my trunk or my pot. Now, some of your buttons might have 4 holes, some of them might have 2 holes. If you've got some 4-holed buttons, what I would do is thread on the diagonal. That just make your buttons sit more nicely. And the next one. But this would be great for teaching kids dexterity, little kids. And also learning colours and sorting sizes. So not only fun, but could be educational as well. So all of these ones so far have got 4 holes. This one's only got 2. So we're just going to go in the other one. So we've got to the bottom, and now we're threading up, back up our little tree. And we're nearly at the top. So we've got a 4-hole button there, so I'm going on the diagonal. Another 4-hole button, I'm going on the diagonal. And you can make these as sophisticated or as groovy and as wacky as you want. So there we've got a very short, stubby little tree. Oh, I haven't done that on the diagonal, so it's not sitting properly. So I'm just going to put my needle back through that hole and find the diagonal hole, which is this one. There we go. So that's sitting a little bit more nicely now. I could have done with a smaller button just to finish the top of my tree off, but in the interests of being quick for you, we will leave it at that. You get the idea from the other ones that I've already done, and you will again be much better than me at this. Take your needle off, and all you're going to do, if you're happy with your arrangement, you're going to tie a double knot so that those buttons stay nice and secure, and then put your ends together and tie another knot to form a loop. And it is as simple as that. So these make cute little tree decorations. We have what we call the trash tree in the kitchen. So these I could see going on there. You know, if you've got really pretty buttons, you could make a really sophisticated arrangement. But the little ones again would be cute as little embellishments to your gift wrapping when you're doing your tags. So those are my cute little Christmas tree button trees, and here is what they look like in kind of size order. So let me know what you think about those. I think these are great fun to do with the kids, and you know, Christmas is all about spending time with our kids and doing things with our kids, isn't it? So a little bit of a departure, and I need to address this button problem. So I will be back tomorrow with day 18. I do hope you'll join me. If you liked this, please give me a thumbs up. I know I'm getting some thumbs down. I don't really mind, as long as people are engaging with my channel. That's what it's all about. So I will be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye now.